Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we have a very special unboxing video. I wasn't ever sure if I was ever going to unbox this, but I've decided that I want to display my Mr. Miyagi with the rest of my Karate Kid and Cobra Kai figures. So we're opening it. This is the very special convention exclusive Karate Kid Mr. Miyagi and Daniel LaRusso figure. This is from Icon Heroes. You can see there it says convention exclusive. That's what the back of it looks like. On one side you have Daniel on the pose, learning the balance. It is the same on the opposite side, and this is what it looks like. To my knowledge, this is the only way you can get a Mr. Miyagi figure to date. The top of it says the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi and Daniel, and the bottom of it says warning, not a toy, not for persons under the age of 18. It says they're Icon Heroes. There is your your barcode, not your QR code. It says they're made in China and so on and so forth. It says there, in colder climates, the plastic materials tend to tighten more than normal, causing the joints to be tighter. If you're experiencing this issue, simply dip the heads and hands into hot water for approximately 30 seconds and the joints should loosen up, allowing you to pose the figure and interchange the heads and hands more easily. So it even says that on the actual bottom of it, which means that they are perhaps anticipating that there might be some issues or some problems. So we're going to have to look into that as well. But this is a really cool piece. I thought about leaving this just closed forever, but I decided to open it for you guys. So on one side there you can see it says wax on, wax off. There is our Daniel LaRusso. This is a different outfit, but it's the same head, and I believe it's the same hands and such as well, but as the other one that we've got. And on the other side it says breathe in, breathe out, and there you see there is Mr. Miyagi himself. And you can see here that this comes with a ton of accessories. There's a whole load of different hands here that is meant to be for the... It's the training for Daniel. You can see there you've got various different hands, but you've also got the brush. Mr. Miyagi has his chopsticks for when he was trying to catch the fly with chopsticks, which Daniel does in the first try, and he's like, what does he say? Is it like the first beginner's luck? That's what he says. Yeah, it's like beginner's luck. Yeah, you can see there that there's the soap, there's the little things for the wax, there's the bucket of water, there's the bucket of wax, there's the blue thing there as well. So this is very cool to see all these different variations of accessories that you can get. But of course, the main reason we want to get into this is for Mr. Miyagi. So without any further ado, we're going to cut the sellotape on the top here, against my best judgment, because it's going to lower the value of this. But hey, this is as much for you guys as it is for me. Now this one, the box, we will be keeping, because this is a special thing, so we don't want to go ruining or ripping the box in any manner or way. So we're going to take our time opening it here, make sure that it doesn't rip, because this is one of those rare experiences where I do actually keep the packaging. And once it comes out, there we have it. Oh my goodness. And of course the back of the box does have the Miyagi-Do logo, as you can see right there. It looks like it is kind of sun bleached, but that is the design for it. It's meant to look that way. Of course, I think this might have came out before the Netflix series did, if I remember correctly. So I'm thinking here I might not actually look at any of these accessories of the different hands. We might just look at the figures themselves, because that's what I'm really interested in, and if possible I would like to try and preserve as much of this convention exclusive special edition Mr. Miyagi as I can. But we will take a look at them, even if we're just taking a look at them inside of the box. There we are. The tassel has been undone. This is very rare to see nowadays. They very rarely show up. I got mine off of eBay, and I believe I got it off of eBay, and it was someone in America that was selling it. Of course, I live in Scotland, which is in the UK, for those of you that don't know where Scotland is. And there we are. There is our Mr. Miyagi. We're going to put you just down there for just a moment, and we're going to leave the rest of this exactly as it is. So let's take a look at everything that you get in here. So there you see the various different hands, various different little pose, the little water. I think this is meant to be sort of like, this is probably supposed to be the wax or something. It has a plastic coating here that you need to remove the sellotape at the top in order to get into these parts here. So that's why we're just going to leave this as it is. The Daniel Russo figure, I wasn't anywhere near as bothered, but let me just do a quick comparison, because I think Daniel Russo in his gear, is much better, it's much more appropriate. But of course, the reason that they released this figure is because it's supposed to be Daniel Russo training. I believe it's the exact same head, if you can see there. I don't think there's any difference there. The body part here, the main sculpt of the body looks to be the same as Mr. Miyagi's. These parts look new, the jeans and the little shoes at the bottom there. Of course, there's a whole bunch more accessories, but it's not enough to want me to remove this figure and take it out. The only one I'm going to remove is the Mr. Miyagi. Oh my goodness. I appear to have turned into a coughing grand cat. Let's just take a quick look at... I've actually just noticed that this arm in the packaging was actually backwards, so let's fix that, turn that around. That's a little bit strange. So these look almost like the same sculpt, apart from this pocket is a little bit different. You can actually see there that that part has actually been cut. And I think this is maybe just what it's supposed to look like. The bottom of the shirt looks exactly the same there, and maybe the trousers are actually the same as well. It's just they've been recolored, repainted. The shoes are different from Mr. Miyagi. They are more like trainers on Daniel, but there we go. So that was a little bit tight there, but I was just making sure that it did work. We're also going to be using the open hands for Mr. Miyagi. It's interesting because he does come with closed fist palms here, but I don't think Mr. Miyagi ever actually threw a punch in the entire Karate Kid series. He does a karate chop through a log in Karate Kid 2. He does a lot of parries. He does a lot of throws. He fends off against the young Johnny Lawrence when he's protecting Daniel Russo at the start, but he doesn't throw any punches there. He just parries the punches and throws the Cobra Kai students away. He doesn't throw a punch against Terry Silver or John Kreese or the bad boy whose name I've forgotten. Oh my goodness, is it Robbie or something? Oh my goodness, I've forgotten his name. That's terrible. Barnes. It's something Barnes. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten his first name. But yeah. Okay, I was just making sure that he did have some waist swivel there. Oh, I was mildly a little bit worried. But this is what we really want to see. This is the figure. So the rest of this I am going to put away. I'm going to leave it in exactly the state that it's in. And if I ever want to reunite this again, all I need to do is put the Mr. Miyagi back in there, and then I have the full set once again. So this is all going to go away. Everyone's going to have to say goodbye to that. But this is what we really care about. There he is. There's Pat himself. There's Mr. Miyagi. and he looks awesome. The weather here in Scotland is, of course, ever changing. That is a very, very loose elbow. Oh my goodness. It goes all the way up. It gives you huge articulation there, which is very, very cool. The arm is nice and flexible. The shoulder is a little bit stiff. This elbow is just a little bit more in refusal. But yep, nope, it has the same movement and articulation. Just making sure. So I want to be very, very careful with this figure in particular. It looks like the shoulders are supposed to have a movement. You can see there's a little bit of it that shows that the shoulders are supposed to move up and down. Okay, so that one does, but this one is a little bit stuck, and I am just a little bit hesitant to force it because, well, I mean, getting a replacement is not going to be easy, to say the least. So I am maybe just going to leave that the way that it is. Even moving the shoulder is difficult. Maybe I'll try it a little bit off camera. But also another part is this part here is like really loose, and you can kind of see a bit of movement in the upper body, the upper arm part here, which I don't really like the look of, because if this were to snap off, it would be devastating, to say the least. So this shoulder is fine. You know, it moves up and down as well. It's stiff, but it works. But this shoulder, it is not giving me any movement whatsoever. I'm trying to move just the shoulder by itself. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just leave that for just now. We do have a waist swivel, but of course you want this part to line up here. We do have the chest swivel as well. Legs, in terms of articulation, they do. Yeah, okay, so you can get a nice, you know, high kick there. He does have the thigh swivel, which is a little bit in refusal, so we're not going to push it. It's double knee joint, which gets that far. We have the toe articulation there, the toe pivot, and there we are, double knee joint on that side as well. This one, the thigh swivels at this side, is less willing to do so. So I'm not going to force it. The toes are very loose. You do have a bit of movement with the feet there as well. So we have that going on. Oh, there we got a bit of movement with the shoulder. Just a tiny bit, just for a second, but it did move. You know what, I'm just going to pause this for a video for just a second. I don't normally, but for something like this, for this Mr. Miyagi figure, I'm going to just try and test this little shoulder just off camera, so bear with me just a second. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I did get the shoulder to move, so as you can see there, the shoulder now has a bit more movement in it, but this part here is really, really, like, it's very fragile, so I don't really want to go messing around with it too much. But I think there we have a very traditional kind of pose for Mr. Miyagi in terms of karate, with the outstretched hand and of course just the two basic open palms, because of course Mr. Miyagi was a master of parrying and deflecting and then using the opponent's weight against them for throws. So I think that there is perfect for Mr. Miyagi. So I think that is probably the pose that I'm going to keep him in. I think that is a very, very traditional style pose, and I think that is absolutely perfect for Mr. Miyagi. And that was a distraction that happened there. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. So there we are. There is our Mr. Miyagi. And now let's pair him up and see some of the other figures alongside him. We have our Daniel LaRusso, who I think this is actually a pretty good scale for Mr. Miyagi as well, because he is supposed to be like not the tallest of persons. Next up, we have John Kreese, who of course is a far larger opponent than Mr. Miyagi. Of course, Terry Silver, who came into Karate Kid 3, and the young Johnny Lawrence, who was of course the villain of Karate Kid 1. So there we have all of the original Karate Kid style figures. Let's just pose that up so that they all face the camera. There we are. That is a pretty cool look, I would say. You have your Cobra Kai and your Miyagi-Do. It's really cool to just see Daniel and Miyagi like next to one another like that. Very, very cool to see that, indeed. I'm really, really pleased to... I don't know why they didn't release a Mr. Miyagi figure outside of, something like this, something like the special con exclusive version. But of course, as well as the young versions, we also have the modern, up-to-date Daniel and Johnny. So let's bring them in for... So there we have the new proprietor of Miyagi-Do. This is of course Daniel himself, and of course we have the brand new, up-to-date Eagle Fang Johnny Lawrence, who was the one that brought back Cobra Kai as well. So there you have it, folks. There is all of my Cobra Kai / Karate Kid figurines, and they're actually all standing this time, unlike the previous video where they refused to stand. But we can't let this go without doing a 360 of Mr. Miyagi himself. So let's remove all the rest of our characters very briefly. Apparently there's a dog outside that is... He's disagreeing with something. He's not happy about it. I don't know if you guys can hear that out there, but he appears to be barking up a storm. Let's get these characters out of the way. It was really weird that I left John Kreese with Mr. Miyagi. And there we go, Mr. Miyagi himself, of course, with his little bonsai tree, which was how he joined the series in the first place. He was, of course, the handyman that Daniel LaRusso's mother, the apartment that they moved into, he was the handyman for that, and he was, of course, doing his bonsai work, because that is what Mr. Miyagi truly enjoyed in life. And there we are, folks. There is the epitome of Karate Kid for all intents and purposes. Let's making sure that you can all see it. Okay. There's a part blocking the camera viewer here, and I wanted to make sure that all of Mr. Miyagi was caught on camera, that we weren't cutting off the top of his head. But I don't think we are. We appear to be good. But there we are, folks. And that, I think, for me, is the Karate Kid and the Cobra Kai figures done with. If you want to see more Cobra Kai and Karate Kid figures, do let me know in the comment section below. The other things I'm aware of is, of course, you can get Chosen. I'm not going to go and get the different variations of the different characters. I'm quite happy with the ones that I've got. I know that you can get the young John Kreese that comes with the 3 other younger Cobra Kai members along with Johnny Lawrence. I don't think I'm going to go after that. I don't know if I'm interested enough to go out of my way to try and get something like that. I think I'm quite pleased that I've got, my Johnny Lawrence, my young, the young and the modern Johnny Lawrence. We've got the young and the modern Daniel LaRusso. We've got the Mr. Miyagi, we've got Terry Silvers, and we've got John Kreese as well. And I think I'm happy with that. I think that is me. I am good with my collection of these figures. So I don't think off the top of my head that I'm going to add any more to these. I think if they bring out some of the Cobra Kai kids, like Hawk and such like that, maybe we'll go for some of them. Maybe Daniel LaRusso's daughter. Maybe something like that. I know you can get them technically as part of the Power Rangers. They released some of the figures there in the Power Rangers Ninja figures, but to me that doesn't feel like it's Cobra Kai or Karate Kid figures, so I've tried to stay away from that. I've got, of course, the Power Rangers collection figures, which if you guys want to see, let me know and I will do all the videos in them. But for this, folks, that is going to be it for this little video. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so you can see when more of these glorious little videos go out. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.